My spot is dangerous, of course. Dangerous. So, like it's supposed to go atrium, ventricle, boom, 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 boom. Well, my bottom chamber is pumping before the top chamber, which doesn't really amount to crap from what I understand. And that's why my Apple Watch will not pick up that beat because it doesn't reach my little fingers. It just gets too complicated. I can't understand it all because I'm not the one supposed to be in charge. I'm tired of being in charge. It's always the same. I felt like this last one was worse. Did I already tell you I peed on myself at a barbecue in front of everyone? Yes, I did. Yeah. Hi, I'm Charity Jones, comedian, storyteller, and your host of The Charity Case. On this podcast, we talk about the messy parts of life, raw stories of resiliency, rescue, and ridiculousness. If you've ever had to start over, pick up the pieces, and just laugh to get through it, you're in the right place. This is The Charity Case. Hello, and welcome to The Charity Case. And yes, I am Charity Jones. I'm going to be the charity case of the day. I thought it was time for me to do a solo episode, and I've been going through a lot of frustrations with my medical journey, and so why not sit down and talk about it? I mentioned today on Facebook that I felt like my creative flow was depleting, basically. And I've needed to put out an episode, so I'm checking in. I'm going to do it. I showered. I put on my face. I did not fix my hair. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, let's just dive in. I'm frustrated. I think a lot of people out there are frustrated. I started having heart issues in 2021. I don't know if it's more related to actual COVID, the virus, the live virus and getting sick, or the shot, the immunization or whatever, vaccine. But I do feel like that it's related to one of those, or that the timeline adds up. I have a very strong immune system. I hadn't had heart problems before. But I do have a strong family history of heart issues, so you never know. I have had providers agree that there has been an influx of cardiac issues in younger adults, in the last 6 years. And we know viruses attack nerves that affect organs. That's not a new discovery. But regardless, that's where my journey started, 2021. It's 2026, almost June. So we're good 6 years in. I mean, 5. Sorry. Okay, let's make this exciting. I'm alive. We're all alive. Yay. Been living my dreams. It's been a lot of the motivation to do comedy. In fact, I started doing comedy after the first Syncope episode when I fainted home alone. Woke up bent into a pretzel in my hallway, tiny little hallway. Tore up my knee. So that was the first major incident that started the comedy journey. But the cardiac journey itself, I was working a stressful job. I was working for my brother, which we did have a lot of fun, but it was very stressful in logistics. I wasn't taking very good care of myself. I've lost about 50 pounds since then. I was heavier. So I had my own health issues as well, but I started having chest pains all the time. And so I called my PCP, and I do have a background in healthcare. I'm a speech pathologist. I do some hospital shifts. So I know some of the terminology. I'm not an expert, but familiar with some things. So I called my PCP and I said, like, cardiac referral. My heart feels funny. Something's going on. Something's not right. I also asked for a pulmonology referral for a sleep study. I do have sleep apnea. I need to be better at taking care of that. And I was thinking yesterday, I really need to start. I do need to get a better handle on my health and making it my responsibility and not projecting all of my anger onto the healthcare system, even though it frustrates me to my core. But I could do better. I want to start doing some yoga. I need to start walking again. But it's hard when you don't feel 100%. And I've been putting my energy in a lot of places. I don't feel like I've been slacking. I don't think I'm lazy, which I do have a hard time resting because I start to feel really guilty that I'm not being productive, that I'm not proving myself, I guess. I don't know. I think I need some therapy. My insurance company sent me a text link last night to sign up for therapy. I was like, this is golden timing, really. I started it. I need to finish it. My ADD is so bad. Can you tell? Okay, so yes, I asked for referrals. My doctor asked me what was going on. I said, I'm having chest pains. They're not severe. He asked, what kind, blah, 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 blah. But I can tell that my heart is being weird, beating funny. I'm having the palps or something. And so I went to the first cardiologist and he acted like I was insane. He said, what are you doing here? He said, who referred you? And I told him, and he said, wow, we get a lot of referrals from him. Basically, what I felt like leading on, indicating was that he just thought this doctor was sending anybody that wanted to cardiology and that there was not going to be anything wrong and that I was crazy. But as a woman, I feel like we're pretty used to this behavior. And so I told him the doctor and I said, I can tell there's something wrong with my heart. It's beating funny. I feel like I have chest pains. I have shortness of breath. I can tell every time it happens, and it's happening more and more often. And so he, had me do the EKG and all that. And he came back in and he said, well, my God, there is something going on. He was like, you are having a ton of PVCs. And I was like, how condescending, It just reaffirmed that he thought I was nuts. So that's where it started. We started some meds. It didn't help. I was getting nauseous all the time. I felt worse. I did not like the meds. I felt like my heart palps were more intense. And I went back to him, told him what was going on, that I felt like I was having, some reactions, side effects. And he doubled the dose. Well, that didn't work. Surprise. So I quit those. We tried something else. And meanwhile, my heart's not changing. It's still doing it. He yelled at me one day and he said, are you just trying to get a pacemaker? Do you just want a pacemaker? I was like, no, I don't want to feel any of it. I don't want to be tired from it. I don't want to worry about it. I don't want to worry if I need to go to the ER. There's several times at this point that I had started to pull over because I didn't know if I was going to have a heart attack, which now I know that these are not heart attack chest pains, but what a gamble, Like what? I just laugh every time they're like, well, call us, come back in if you start having chest pains. And I'm like, don't even say that to me anymore. Because I come in and I'm stable and I'm healthy looking and I'm 47 and I can get up and walk around. I'm a fall risk sometimes, but I just feel like it's not urgent because I still have capabilities. So anyway, went through all that, changed doctors, cardiologists. I had lots of testing. I had a mapping. Oh, and then they told me I wasn't a candidate for an ablation due to the location of where they thought it needed to be ablated. It was too close to the SV nerve node. SV node. I think I tried a different med. I've tried a total of 3. Anyway, then I decided to sell my house. My kids, I became an empty nester. I decided to sell my house and move to Tulsa, Oklahoma and be a city girl and move away for the first time and live my dreams. And I had tried comedy in Northwest Arkansas. I had done a few open mics. I had actually gotten booked on a show that sold out here in Tulsa in 2020. And then a week later, the country shut down. It was that good. Then I came to Tulsa and I had kind of put off my health and I did have the cardiologist up here look at me. I think I had established care, but then I fainted while living in Tulsa in July of 2024. And that's when I fell and hurt my knee. I pretzeled myself, but I tore the ligaments in my knee, my meniscus, and the ACL, and it was a mess. Mess. And it's scary. It's scary. Oh, I did kind of want to talk about what that feels like because I don't know if anybody's interested, but I think it's interesting. I would like to know what other people feel like if they feel this because there is a point. They keep telling me that I might have vagal response, something close to that, which my symptoms do match. But anyway, here we go. So usually I'm sitting down and sometimes I can start to feel it when I'm standing up, but a lot of times, several times I'm sitting down. It's important to know. And then I just all of a sudden start to feel intoxicated. I start to feel drunk or like I'm going to overdose or something. Like I lose a sense of all control of my body. Like I want to urinate and defecate and my hearing is like wah 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 wah, and the room is spinning. My vision is fuzzy. It sometimes goes in and out, like maybe not in and out, but it's all too much. Everything's too much. All I want to do is lay down. Like I feel like an urge to lay down, and for some reason, I always try to get to the bed. I have trained myself. I thought this last time I did not react like I was supposed to, but I had been pretty good about if I felt anything, just getting in the floor. Because after I hurt my leg last time, it was so debilitating and frustrating, deflating. So if you're out there and you ever feel really dizzy or like you're going to faint, just drop to the floor so you don't hit your head, you don't tear up your leg, you don't sprain your ankle, you don't hit your head. I've hit my head once. It's just maddening. It's maddening. And why can't I train myself to lay down right then? I always want to try to get to my bed. And okay, symptoms. So that happens. And then the sweats. And part of the sensory part is like your skin, like everything's too tight. Like, and you bloat. And I feel like my pants are going to cut into me and I have to take them off. And my bra is going to cut me in half. And I have to take it off. And then the sweats come. And then I just start pouring sweat. And it's hot. I think. Maybe the sweats come after I pass out. The passing out is happening soon. Once I'm like, oh my God, I can't control it anymore. I'm going to die. And then downer. But I don't usually stay down very long. But when I wake up, it's like really hard to kind of grasp everything. It's kind of slow. And I can hear at first before I can see. And then usually just drenched in sweat, wet. And this last time I urinated on myself at someone's house. That was beautiful. That was a nice little new additive. Yeah. But at least I was around some people because usually I'm at home alone. So that was great that my friends got to witness that. Peed on her floor and got a little on the velvet zebra chase lounge. I mean, it is like me. At least I'm keeping it on brand, right? Does that count? Those are the symptoms. Everything starts coming back. My heart's usually still freaking out. My blood pressure, I think, tanks every time. It's happened twice. Once with EMS and once in the hospital. Twice in the hospital. And my blood pressure has tanked. But they don't really ever tell me what it is. They whisper and they all look at each other. And you can tell it's panic mode. And I can't really talk yet. So I don't know. Oh, the one hospital I sat in the waiting room for like 7 hours with my bestie, Charlie. He was so nice to take me. I kept saying, I can't sit up like this anymore in these chairs in this waiting room. I mean, there was so many people in there, just rows and rows of people waiting, sick people, just misery everywhere. After about the 6th hour, I was starting to get dizzy and I looked at Charlie and I was like, oh God, it's happening. It's happening. It's starting. And he was like, what? I probably didn't even say that many words. He was like, what are you talking about? And all I could say was, go. And he kind of got up in a panic, and down I went. And then I read the notes, because I read all the notes. And it said that they found me resting in the floor. Resting. But while I was resting in the floor, I heard I think my heart rate was in the 20s or 30s, and my blood pressure, I can't remember now. It was super low. Super, super low. But all the machines were like, "Bah, bah, bah." But and a lot of times when it won't read my blood pressure, no, not every time. Sometimes it just messes up, but I can usually feel it. And I feel like they think I'm crazy because I tell them everything I feel. I know you can't imagine. I'm so expressive, but I do. I can feel all of it. Even when they were doing the EKG this last round, when I got the pacemaker, we haven't even gotten to that part. The EKG girl was like trying to catch, I kept telling her, "Oh, I've got one coming. This one's going to be a big one." I was like, "Oh yeah, it's coming. And here it is. Here it is. Start the thing." And she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you can feel those and do that." And I was like, "Can not everybody do that?" And she was like, "Do it again." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Wait just a second." I was like, "Oh, here we go. It's about to start. There it is." And she was like, "Holy crap." And I was like, "I can feel every single one of them." And I feel like these men, and I'm not trying to sound like a man hater, but just here to report the facts. They look at me like I'm freaking crazy. And they tell me all the time, it's not life threatening. It's not life threatening. You can live with PVCs. And I'm like, I'm over it. It's insulting. I did make a chart note today that I had been insulted. There's so many details. I don't even know if I can say it all, but it is making me feel better to talk about it and try to laugh and smile at you. Because it's been going crazy. Crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I recently got a pacemaker on May 9th, 8th, about 20 days ago, or 21, 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks. It was a Friday. Okay, let me back it up. I had an ablation in July of 2024, I think. I'm getting all this timeline mixed up. Okay, so I wasn't a candidate for the surgery. 2 different people told me that. It was too dangerous. Let's try to control it with meds. We tried all those. No goes. Now I'm passing out. I've hurt my leg. And I'm like, you better do something. I'm not living like this. And I started comedy. And I was like, if I'm going to kick the bucket, I'm doing all the things. And I did all the travels and I about wore myself out. Which probably wasn't the best idea, but oh my gosh, have I had a 2-year little run at it. August will be 2 years. So we're almost there. Gosh, I've been to New York and California and Texas and Michigan and California again and Vegas and I don't know, all the places. Beside the point. Living the dreams. But you better fix me now because what are we going to do? So yeah, had the ablation and was on the table 6 hours. He came out and told my father that he burned a lot, were his words, and that they were hoping for the best. He thinks he may have got it. And this procedure is complicated from what I've learned. I have become a internet cardiologist against my will. But I have a lot of brilliant, very intelligent friends that have helped me on this journey and teach me things all the time. So I'm very blessed. It is a blessing to be so educated and to have so many resources. Okay, so I have the ablation, right? Which it is a hard procedure because my heart has to actively mess up while they're looking at the cameras with the little scopes up in there. And when it messes up and that little spot on my heart fires that it's not supposed to fire, that's sending the signal across all the things to make the things do it, they have to zap it. That's the wrong firing spot, zap that. And then they have to wait to see if it messes up again and if they got the right spot. And if not, they have to get another spot. Try another spot. My spot is dangerous, of course. Dangerous. So we tried it. It worked for a while. A year and a half later, I came back with chronic bradycardia. Yes. Now I am like in the 30s and 40s almost all the time. Which they keep telling me that's not really true. It's just that now I'm having so many PVCs. PVCs are preventricular contractions, meaning that the ventricles on the bottom of the heart, from what I understand, not a doctor, the ventricles beat before the real beats, like it's supposed to go atrium, ventricle, boom, 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 boom. Well, my bottom chamber is pumping before the top chamber, which doesn't really amount to crap from what I understand. And that's why my Apple Watch will not pick up that beat because it doesn't reach my little fingers. And so they're always like, your heart rate is not really 32. It's just because of all the PVCs. And I'm like, well, if it's not reaching my fingertips or my brain, it just gets too complicated. I can't understand it all because I'm not the one supposed to be in charge. Tired of being in charge. Maybe this is my fault too. So it's good for a year and a half. And then it all started happening again. I've passed out a few times again. It's always the same. I felt like this last one was worse. Did I already tell you I peed on myself at a barbecue in front of everyone? Yes, I did. Got to wear some cute little striped leggings home into the ER though. Ooh. Thanks, Jody. So yeah, I've just been really frustrated. So this last time I went to the ER before the pacemaker. I've passed out a few times since that last ablation 2 years ago, right? I can't try meds because the meds I need for the PVCs, the rhythm stuff, will lower my heart rate. I can't go lower. That's not an option. So the next option was to get a pacemaker to keep the rate safe and try the med. That's what we opted to do eventually. But we tried to stay away from that because it was so invasive, and now I have a lifelong pacemaker. I could have tried a second ablation, right? Could have went back in and tried it that way first. But if they get too close to the node, the little transponder spot or whatever, beep, 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 if they zap too close to that, they could stop my heart. And the emergency procedure after your heart stops in a hurry is a pacemaker. So now I'm basically safe to go in and zap away, supposedly. But that's where we're at now, is that I have the pacemaker. I started the meds. We do have one valuable charity. What the hell variable? I'll get there. And I've passed out again this last time. 2 weeks after the pacemaker. I passed out last Sunday. Today is Friday, so not a full 7 days ago. 5 days ago. I had a syncope episode. Just so complicated. I don't even know if you want all these details. This is really for me, my little journaling. Okay, so I passed out a few days ago. Well, the major charity case variable is that I went to my hometown to visit family. I was only going to be there from, it was Memorial Weekend. I went on Friday evening. I spent Saturday with my family. Sunday, and I went to a movie. I sat there for Star Wars, pretty chill. Sunday, I went by a friend's little small barbecue. I was enjoying myself. I was sitting outside, and that's when all of it went down. I made myself inside, blah, 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 peed on the Chase Lounge, and then completely lost it. The point was, though, I had left my meds at home. I know. I had taken it Friday. I had missed Saturday. I was going to leave after the barbecue to come home on Sunday. Right? I thought, no big deal. I'll be home. I'm not staying very long. I didn't even take very many clothes. I didn't take near enough stuff to be there a week. So yeah, I do have some fault maybe in this scenario. But I've decided if I'm that reliant on a medication for the rest of my life, no bueno. Nope. We are not solved. Problem not solved. And I tried to go to the specialty hospital that's small and bougie and fabulous. And of course, there was no one there. So I got right in. And they were like, what are you doing here? You have to go to the major hospital. We cannot run all this cardiac stuff. Even though, they can do like surgery, but it's more of an orthopedic, like athletic hospital. I tried. I hate the major hospital ERs. Oh my God. I hate them. I have like PTSD from going up there, but now twice I have tried to go around it and to go to a smaller provider, and they EMS me to the hospital every time. So that is not a good plan. If you're having cardiac symptoms and you have a choice or have the time to get there, just go to the major provider, the big hospital, because they will have the most equipment and be able to give you the most thorough examination, diagnostic imaging. I should know this. I should know this, but I'm stubborn and I'm tired. I just keep trying different things. So anyway, I ended up at the major hospital and yeah, I haven't been seen for a follow-up yet. I called my PCP and I don't know if you all know this, but hospital systems supposed to help you set up your follow-up appointments before discharge. And it is regulated that you are supposed to follow up with your PCP within 10 days. I believe it's 10. It could be 14. 10 to 14 days post-discharge for, continuity of care. Well, I called my PCP and I was like, I need an appointment. And she was like, oh, we're booking like 3 weeks out. I have to say this every time. I'm like, well, that's not going to work. You're going to have to call, let me leave a nurse a message. I've just been discharged from the ER. Blah, blah, every time. And so, and I tell him, no, I need to be seen within 10 days of discharge. That's exactly what I say. Do I need to leave a message for a nurse or would you like to call somebody yourself and call me back? How would you like to handle this? And I say it a little more nice sometimes than that, but I do leave it up to them, but I'm very direct. It's like a multiple choice. Which answer would you like to pick? Here are your choices. It typically works. And if it doesn't, then I leave a message for the nurse and then the nurse usually takes care of everything. So I had done that. The nurse talked to the doctor. She called me back and she was like, Paula would really like for you to go see your specialist, which is fair. I've just had a pacemaker and passed out again. She's my general practitioner, an APN. Like, yeah, I probably need to see the heart guy. An electrophysiologist is a specialty of cardiology. So, come on. So I call over there. She tells me it's going to be 5 to 6 weeks. So I told her that that was not acceptable and that that was not an option. And then I had just been discharged from the ER after having a pacemaker 2 weeks ago. And do we need to talk to the nurse? Leave a message, blah, blah, blah. Same thing. And then I don't know if you have your text alerts set on your MyChart, but I sure do. So I get a text alert like almost immediately that I have a new updated message in my chart. So I log in, look, and she's like, patient refused. Next available appointment is demanding to speak to someone. And so then I got in. I made my little note to the chart. And I was like, yes, confirmed. Patient is refusing. I would like for you to put in writing. I would like it noted in my chart that I do not need to be seen immediately after discharging from the emergency room after receiving a pacemaker for 5 to 6 weeks. I was like, I've already contacted my PCP. She has referred me to you. She thinks that that would be the best plan of care since I just had a pacemaker placed. And guess what? We got an appointment for June 10th. Better, right? Today's 29th. Not terrible. With a physician's assistant on the team. My doctor is extremely busy, I understand. And I really like this PA. I felt like he was very informative in the hospital. He handled my questionings very well. I felt like we had a good rapport because I am a pain in the ass. I ask a lot of questions, and if I don't understand, it's not time to be done with the conversation. I demand it. And I try to be respectful. I try to be very articulate, but I really don't have room for any doctor's egos. I'll just put it that way. And most of them are very nice. Maybe scared. I think my specialty doctor is a little nervous and frightened. So it gets better. Okay, so they scheduled me a follow-up for June 10th. And another echocardiogram where they take the ultrasound and look at your heart and they measure everything and blah, 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 blah. And I think this one would be limited where they're just concerned to see if I have extra fluid on the heart. They just want to check my fluids. I don't think I have extra fluid on the heart because I think that would be a whole nother world of a problem that would still be here if it was the reason I passed out almost now a week ago. Breathe, Charity, breathe. Breathe it in. Okay, focus. So that was supposed to be this morning. I was going to go for the echocardiogram at 7 o'clock, be there at 6:45. this morning. And mind you, stay with me. When I fell last weekend when I fainted, I twisted my ankle. So my foot is in a boot out of town on my right foot. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. So I'm stuck 2 hours away, but I'm with family. Silver lining. I'm taken care of. My daddy's feeding me some good food. So I got some good home care, but I'm stuck out of town now. And I was supposed to return to work this week on Tuesday. That didn't happen. I didn't even get to come home. Thank goodness I had my animals with me. But anyway, so by Thursday, last night, I took my boot off. I walked around during the day, kind of got my foot stretched. It was feeling doable. Wasn't comfortable, but it wasn't excruciatingly painful like before. So I thought, I can do this. I can drive. I have drive assist. When I get on the highway, I can push the buttons, you know. Turns out that flexion going back, that hurt. That was a lot, but I did it. I made it. So I finally get home and it's 4:59 and I get a call from the hospital. Turns out the PA wasn't really approved. So the prioritization for the echocardiogram had to be approved before they would make the appointment, right? Well, the doctor had said he had put in a stat order on Tuesday when they came back from Memorial Day. I passed out on Sunday. Everybody's off work. They come back Tuesday because of the holiday. I've sent messages. They're trying to book me 5 or 6 weeks out. I say no. They respond. They say stat echo, come in on June 10th, and something else I can't remember. So they call at 4:59 yesterday and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. The PA wasn't approved. You can either pay cash or cancel your appointment." I took some deep breaths because I thought, you cannot take this out on this woman. She is in an office somewhere on a Thursday afternoon, wanting to go home, probably hates her life and her job. I don't know if she hates her life, but her job is probably miserable. Be nice, Charity. Be nice. So I explained to her the situation and that I am now home alone without family support. And tomorrow is Friday. Today is Friday. The appointment was supposed to be this morning. This ain't gonna go down until next week now. We both know this. We both know this. So I told her, I said, I can get the PA from the insurance company dealt with. I bet you before 9 o'clock in the morning. And she left. So yeah, so it was supposed to be ordered stat. So I called the insurance company after I talked to the woman and head of insurance at the hospital. And I told the insurance company, you should have an order for an echocardiogram. My appointment's in the morning. They said it's not been pre-approved. Guy typed it up, whatever. I can't find it. It's not in here. It's not listed in your request or whatever yet. And I got really, really upset. I kind of lost it. I lost it on him. I held it together for the woman. I lost it on the person that was not female or in this country. And I felt really bad. And we ended up bonding by the end. We trauma bonded. It was fine. We got things done. Yes, we did. And he said he was definitely there to help me. He told me exactly what to say. I told him I wanted to know the terminology and I wanted him to hold on until I could log into my chart and I wanted to type out exactly what I needed to say. And so he did. He said absolutely. He was very supportive. And I wrote it out and he said you need to tell them that they've submitted a regular prior authorization request and not an expedited request that is usually dealt with in 24 hours. It is not in anyone's 24-hour bin. They can usually take up to like 72 or I don't know. I do not remember. He gave me a reference number and he was like, this is going to be the reference number on your call. The call has been recorded. I've made detailed notes. We'll have somebody looking for this prioritization with this reference number, or they can put the reference number on the PA request and it'll be linked to the chart, the file. It's so exhausting. And so I sent that to the doctor in my chart. Please request this expedited PA so it can be approved within 24 hours. But now what am I supposed to do? I was going to go back at work again on Monday. My job doesn't want me to come back to work until my doctor approves me. Well, my PCP does not want to approve me. She wants my electrophysiologist to approve me. My electrophysiologist has not seen me. And I'm too tired to deal with all this and be doing therapy with children at work or with adults or at the hospital. Because, yes, I also cover a couple hospitals. PRN, not all the time. I've missed 3 shifts for that. I'm the backup girl, and I've missed several shifts. I've canceled a few shows, and they're like, it's not life-threatening. Just chill out and relax. And you haven't went back to work yet? What? Because remember, I was stuck out of town in a freaking boot. And no, I didn't want to do all that. And my ankle hurt, and I wanted to be at my dad's. Oh, I think my children are going to come over this weekend. That'll be great. And my sweet little Alfredo sent me coffee this morning, like a whole tub of Folgers. How sweet was that? He's going to bring me coffee, and I said, I'm just really not up for company, love. I appreciate it. And then I went to make some coffee, and I was out, totally empty. And I about cried. I think I did shed a tear. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to let someone help me. And so I messaged him back and said, actually, I am out of coffee, and I would love for you to help me with that. And he said, what kind do you want? And I said, well, I don't care. I'm pretty simple. I just drink Folgers. Whatever is easiest for you. And he had Target deliver me a thing of Folgers decaf, which I love functionality and functional gifts. And so that's so perfect. I would much rather have coffee for the next several months probably than to have one fancy $5 coffee that's got way more sugar than I need. So that was so perfect. Thank you, Alfredo. Thank you. But yeah, I've got a lot of self-work to do. I need to work on my health. I need to take it more seriously. I haven't had a drink in like a month, so that's great. I would love a beer, but I just don't feel like I should add a variable. And I had really cut back on drinking the last couple of years. I've been typically just having like 1, 2 drinks if I have a drink when I'm at the comedy club or here lately, though. It's a no-go. No-go. Because you know they'll be like, "Ugh, she keeps passing out because she's drinking. She has a problem." And everybody's like, you should just slow down. And I've been slow. I've tried that. I was slow for years. I rested. I didn't exercise enough or eat right enough. But I ended up gaining like 70, not 70, almost 70 pounds. Yeah. Yeah, I still have 20 to lose. I've lost 50. It's mathin' because you just get lethargic and you just lose like motivation. And we went through so much with COVID, and I went through job changes and then the kids moving out. And I felt like so guilty that their junior and senior year was ruined. It was trash. We didn't do the college campus tours like we were supposed to. I didn't help them and push them to get into college like I was supposed to. And there's so much guilt. And then everyone's like, oh my God, you should just stop traveling. You're stressing yourself out. Well, guess what? It's stressful anyway. Why not? I love that I did all that. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend, except for now I'm broke. That's a whole nother issue. The whole money. Jeez Louise. I spend like $750 on insurance, health insurance a month. My deductible, I think, was $1,500 or $2,000. My out of pocket max, I think, is $8,000 or $9,000. I've hit those. By May. Woohoo! More payment plans. They tried to get me to set up a payment plan the other day, and it was for $620, $650. I don't remember. And I was like, nope, 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 nope. I tried to set it for like $200, and they said nope. So I'm gonna have to call about that. Get someone to help me figure that out. They tried to get me to pay $400 before they put the pacemaker in while I'm laying there. And I was like, no. I did just have to sign that I would pay later. But I was like, tacky. So rude. So rude. So rude. Oh, and the reason I didn't. Okay, so a second ablation was recommended a while back after one of the syncope episodes. And the reason I didn't have that done is because I wanted to find a different specialist that was an EP that specialized in PVC ablations near the node. Because different doctors have different hours and different specialties and different skilled hands. And I wanted different hands. So I went on that journey for a good 6-7 months. I tried to go to Baylor. I went through the app on Ambetter and I looked at all the in-network providers and I researched the doctors and I asked my cath lab friends and I asked around. Because if there's one skill I've got, I know a guy. I always know a guy. So I asked around and I found some doctors I liked. So I looked on the app, I found, did all that. I even called. It's a long story. I did all the things. And time after time after time, I would be denied. I tried to go to Cleveland Clinic, Mayo, Baylor, White and Scott. I think OSU, maybe the one in Oklahoma City. They've got a really good EP doctor. Not a network. Deny. So part of the reason this has been so hard is because I have Ambetter. I have learned through my research that there is a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan that has what's called a blue card that you can maybe get through ACA, the Affordable Care Act insurance, because I am a private contractor, that will let you go out of state and pick specialties to see. So next time I change insurance at a qualifying event, I should probably pay more. I'm sure it'll be over $1,000 and get that one so that I can maybe navigate this with a little more ease. But for right now, my choices are I have thrown a fit and asked for a long-term case manager, which ironically, I opened a letter this morning from my insurance wanting to assign me a case manager and wanting me to call them. But they sent it while I was in the hospital. And then I haven't been home because I was stuck out of town with a sprained ankle in a boot. Anyway, so I've made some progress there, and I talked to someone from the insurance 2 days ago that said they thought I would be a good candidate for an exception to go outside of service and be covered, or outside of network, whatever, because I want to go to Cleveland. I want to go to Cleveland Clinic. I've looked at apartments in Cleveland. I thought I could move up there for a little while and have a, qualifying change of events. I could have a new address in a different state, and I could get Ohio insurance. But guess what? Then my deductibles and out-of-pocket max will start over. So that is an option, but not the best plan. So we're going to try to go through the exemption route. Hope for the best. It's going to require a letter from my doctor. And the agent told me the other day the exact wording that the letter needs. They might know. The doctor's office might know what to say. And then there's the fact that, I might not get into Cleveland for 6 months and my deductibles will start over. So that's where we're at. I do have an exciting update. Let's talk about something exciting. I want to do some research and find my paternal grandmother's family. She was a part of an adoption scandal, I believe. Hospital in Memphis that was stealing babies and adopting them out, selling them pretty much in the 30s. So I do want to start researching that. I think it'd be a great podcast idea. Like do a little series of research. I feel like I need a rabbit hole to go down into that's not politics, it's not my health, it's not doctors and insurance companies. I'm trying to take a break from the stage for a minute, but I'm going to try to be back in a couple weeks. I've got some shows mid-July, so I'm excited about those. But I'm just trying to take it easy peasy. Don't be stressed. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. I have felt so loved. And through all my frustrations, man, I do have a tribe that loves me. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Have a good day. Until next time on the Dirty Case. Bye bye.